Hey, this is Mina of Mina Tarot, and welcome back to my channel. In today's pick a card video, we're going to be talking all about your breakup, why it happened, what's going on with your ex right now, and what you need to do to move on. We'll also discuss whether the relationship is worth saving or not, and what you can do to heal your heart and focus on now to move forward. If you're new to pick a card videos, it's pretty simple actually. You want to take a look at all of the piles and see if one is calling out to you more. It's possible that two piles will be calling out to you, and in that case, definitely watch both pile readings. You're probably going to be able to mix some of the messages there in order to get a more accurate reading from your guides. This is pile 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. If you need something additional to help you pick, I'm going to be adding crystals onto the cards. So take a deep breath. Release any expectations of this reading. Look at the piles and choose pile 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Pause this video for as long as you need to, and then check the description box below for all the timestamps for each pile. Grab your mug of coffee or tea and read some tarot with me. Hi, pile number 1. This is your reading on everything you need to know about your breakup. I want to first start off by kind of looking into your side of the story and your ex's side of the story to get a better picture about what was going on in your relationship. So for you, we have the Sun, and for your ex, we have the Two of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune. All right, so for you, this relation started off on a really positive note. And then some light kind of washed over the situation and the relationship, and you noticed that there were a few red flags popping up. There might have been a period where you were kind of denying them and pretending like they didn't exist, and then eventually it just kind of built up and built up, and you got very frustrated and you were just ready to take a break. And so for your ex over here, I think they were kind of like shocked by the fact that you were frustrated by something. And so they're very willing to change up what is bothering you. They want to get back together, actually. So if you do get back together with them, I would strongly urge you guys to make a plan to resolve any of the issues that were going on prior to the breakup. So that way things can go much more swimmingly in the future and you're both on the same page and you can kind of make a life in that way. So let's talk about if there were any outside forces kind of weighing on your relationship and making it more difficult. The Tower reversed. So I'm thinking that there was a particularly traumatizing relationship that you've had in the past that is kind of weighing in on this most recent breakup and making you a little bit more leery of some negative things you see, and you're kind of afraid to stick it out and push through it because you've been so badly hurt in a past relationship. So it was kind of like you saw things you didn't like, and then you decided to jump ship before it could spiral into anything more dangerous because you felt like, okay, I learned my lesson with this relationship before, and I'm not sticking around for any sort of nonsense. You were guarding your heart, and I think all in all, I would say that that's a very good place for you to be in. You should always be guarding your heart, but also know that for real love to bloom, you also have to open your heart to someone else. So it's this tricky tightrope that you'd be walking here. All right, so let's dive into, can this relationship be saved? And is it worth saving? We have the Knight of Swords and the Eight of Swords. So I think things can be saved. If you're both willing to fight for one another and you're both willing to kind of compromise, learn more about each other, and change some things up in your daily routine to make it more, the relationship more accessible to both of you, I definitely think that this is going to work out. I think they're also hinting that the ultimate love of your life is going to embody the characteristics of a hero. So if your ex is not like kind of that true hero type of character, then they might not be the one for you. Your soulmate will be someone who's intelligent, but a little bit impulsive, rational and a fast talker. They're going to be pretty insensitive at times and a little bit impatient, but all in all, they just want what's best for everyone in every situation. So if this is your ex, then yes, this definitely worked to save this relationship because this is the person for you. If this is not your ex, and remember this is a general reading, so I'm getting lots of messages for each pile here, so you kind of have to take what resonates. If this does not describe your ex, then I would hold out for the true hero, Knight of Swords archetype type of person. For the vast majority of you, I sense that so because this Knight of Swords is combined with this Eight of Swords, I sense that for a vast majority of you, this ex was not that Knight of Swords person. They weren't a terrible person. They weren't horrible or abusive or anything of that nature. They just weren't your person particularly, and you're still holding out for that person that's better for you and that person that your higher self has planned for you, and there's nothing wrong with that. So what did this relationship teach you? For that one, you got the Five of Swords reversed and the tarantula. So there's some bad patterns created by previous traumatic relationships. So we're going back to talking about, I think there was a really rough relationship in your past, and you put yourself first in this relationship. Actually, you saw some red flags and you were like, oop, gonna take care of those right now, which is incredible and good for you for actually noticing those things and not just sticking with that person so you don't feel lonely. I would suggest maybe journaling. Usually, when we see the tarantula, we're talking about weaving together all the stories of life and understanding the interconnectedness of life. So, I would start journaling things that are causing the biggest emotional response for you, especially in reference to what hurts you the most or what causes the greatest emotional response in your life, and see if there's any common threads that connect those events so that you can be sure that your future relationships are not containing those kinds of situations, and it will help you blossom a little bit more. Try to see if your actions are matching your desires or if you're just having your ego take over and like respond without your subconscious mind weighing in at all, or your intuition. Be sure you're taking into account your intuition. All right, how can you mend your broken heart? The Spider Woman in reverse. If you're not ready to recommit to your ex, then talk through it with them. Apologize for what happened. Listen to their apology if they're willing to sit down with you and talk like that openly. But be direct, and if you aren't planning to continue a relationship with them, don't leave them dangling. Just tell them straight out, I want to talk through this relationship and find closure, but I'm not looking to continue our relationship. Nobody likes to be left on the hook waiting. Don't let yourself slip into old habits and continue to follow the intuition that led you to make a end to the relationship because it just didn't feel right for you. And be sure to continue to look at what things in particular are triggers for you so you can make sure that you're avoiding those situations. What should your focus be on moving forward? You've got the Ace of Swords reversed, the Two of Pentacles reversed, and the Bear. So it's time to dive into new situations that excite you, even if it feels uncomfortable to go into them alone. This is the time to get yourself out of your rut and discover new activities that excite you and that are new to you. Don't overextend yourself though. Even if you do, like if this new exciting task is your work or work related and you start throwing yourself in there, when the work stops, the emotions will still be there. So don't try to pretend like you can work them away or avoid them forever. They will eat out in one way or another. You might be starting to get more interested in the spiritual side of yourself lately. In fact, when I see the bear, it usually means we're starting some kind of a new spiritual awakening or a new spiritual journey. So make sure you're incorporating some movement activities into your daily routine to kind of get things flowing and moving and get reconnected with yourself, your intuition, and your emotions. I think that's going to be really important for you moving forward. Remember that anytime we take on a new path or a new journey, things are bumpy at first. So it's okay to expect some things to not work out perfectly, but anytime we start anything new, we're not perfect at it. Practice and determination are what get us to our end goal. I hope this resonates with you. Leave me a comment down below and tell me about a little bit more about your relationship. I'd love to hear about it. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you want more pick a card videos and monthly horoscope readings. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Hey, pile number two, this is your reading of why your relationship ended and is it really over? I'm going to start out by looking at cards, one that represents you and your perspective of the relationship, and one that represents your ex and their perspective of the relationship, so I can kind of get a better idea of what's going on. So, first for you, we have the Five of Pentacles. And for your ex, we've got the Knight of Cups reversed and the Ace of Pentacles. Okay. I just feel like they never seem to really, when I see this Five of Pentacles, they never seem to really have time for you. And they sort of left you feeling rejected. You spent time wondering, like, why you weren't holding their attention or what you could do to get their attention or, what they found more important than you. And for them, it's seeming like they they were probably the ones that ended the relationship. They went from being like happy and committed to all of a sudden just refusing to commit to anything. And for someone out there specifically, this might not resonate for everyone. Remember, it's a general reading. Their partner got a little too into drinking and drugs and kind of like was escaping the world or their life in that way. And that was the thing that was sort of taking their attention over you. Maybe some Pisces energy there potentially. I think they might already be in another relationship right now because when I see the Ace of Pentacles for love, it usually means like jittery about a new relationship or getting like those that honeymoon experience sort of happening right now. So I think that might be what's going on with them currently. So let's talk about some outside influences that might have been affecting your relationship. The Nine of Cups. Yeah, so there was pressure from somebody outside of the relationship to force them to make a bigger commitment to you than they were really ready for, and it like it scared them. They were like, "What? I'm not ready for this kind of an intense relationship." And then they kind of panicked and they decided to and they first tried to like escape from it and sort of ignore you, and then they panicked and then they were like, "Okay, I can't do this on a more serious level. Bye." Which is really kind of sad that that person affected them so strongly. So let's talk about if this relationship is really over and if it's worth your time to try to save it. You pulled three cards for this one, the Lovers, the King of Cups, and the Queen of Cups. So cups represent water energy, so I would not be surprised if both of you are either a Cancer or a Pisces or a Scorpio. I'm getting big water vibes from your guys' birth charts. And looking at these three cards, yes, the relationship is worth saving. I think there's just a lot of emotions running high when the two of you get together. And I just think that both of you get so emotional while sharing openly and honestly with each other is a really fantastic way to grow a relationship. But you also have to couple that with some actionable steps and some compromising and making plans to overcome those things that are hurting each other. Sharing is great, but if it doesn't lead to a resolution in the conflict, then those emotions are just going to keep happening and happening and happening. And potentially you guys were just like a little too young when this relationship started for you to really be able to have that serious of a conversation and really get down to it. But I can definitely see that somewhere in the future, you're going to be able to express those emotions more maturely and be able to work it out. I would say because you have this King of Cups and Queen of Cups scenario, this is even potentially a twin flame. So expect them to leave and expect you to leave, go date other people, and there's going to be like this coming together and pulling apart, coming together and pulling apart thing that's happening, especially if you are younger watching this video. This is a longer life relationship that's not just going to go from point A to point P to point to point C. It's going to kind of jump around a bit, and there's nothing wrong with that. And you should never feel pressured into making your relationship a certain thing that it's not. As far as what you're learning through this person, you've got the Ace of Swords. and the Whale. So again, another water card there. This relationship is teaching you to look at your emotions much more rationally and objectively. You've both had to overcome a lot of challenges in life, and so both of you are teaching each other a sense of strength and stability through this relationship. And Arianthood is how you can kind of heal your heart. Growth takes patience and dedication. It's important to note that you actually have all the time you need. So take things slow, help each other along. You might be friends for a little bit before you decide to jump back into a relationship. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, relationships come in all shapes, sizes, and forms. We don't need to push ourselves into something too quickly. And what should your focus be moving forward? You've got the Star reverse and the Earthworm. I think you should just focus on the positive things that already existed in the relationship to begin with. What were the things that you were enjoying? And then make each step of this new process easier on yourself as you can, and then increase the difficulty. So if there's an issue that you're disagreeing on, that's just a small issue for each of you, then solve that problem first, and then work into the deeper, bigger issues that seem to plague your day to day. So start with accomplishing a small task and then move towards the bigger task. Try not to push your partner too hard, too fast. Taking on all of the issues in the relationship and all of this emotion that I'm seeing here in this relationship at once is too overwhelming for one person and too overwhelming for a couple. Seek out a counselor if you need to seek out a counselor. Heed their advice. Cards are showing me it's a good idea to take a mentor or a counselor or advisor in some capacity. Just make sure it's a person that really does have your best interests at heart. There's so much value in emotional intelligence, and you both already possess so much emotional intelligence already. And I think with time and with maturity, this will be a huge, huge asset in your relationship. So I hope this resonates with you. Leave me a comment down below if you picked pile number 2 and you and your partner are a water sign. I'd love to know if that's really what's happening here. Like this video if it resonated with you, and subscribe to my channel for more pick a card videos and monthly horoscope videos. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Hey, pile 3, this is everything you need to know about your most recent breakup, why it ended, and is it still worth fighting for? I'm going to start off by pulling some cards for you and your partner so that I can kind of get an idea of what was happening here in the relationship to start. So for you, I have the 7 of Wands reversed, and your partner, the 10 of Pentacles, and the 8 of Cups reversed. Oh, so I think for you, your friends and family didn't really approve of this relationship, and so ultimately you just got tired of fighting between your heart and your family and your friends, and you just you gave up on things. You are in a state of letting your thoughts and your feelings be overshadowed by those around you. You may be a people pleaser. It may be very concerning to you what other people think or how they feel, and so that's kind of where you were coming at things in the relationship. For your partner here, I just think they were a bit emotionally immature for a committed relationship, and that might be what your friends and family were sort of seeing in them. What they weren't understanding is that you really loved them and you thought you could make it work and you were willing to take it slow for your partner, but they kind of got in your head and changed that perspective. The breakup I can see was not handled gracefully on your partner's part, but they are in a good place now and they're enjoying times with their family and friends, and they're focusing really hard on their work right now. So that's kind of a checkup with what's going on with them. What are some outside influences that might have been affecting your relationship? The Temperance card in reverse. So you were both just kind of going through a time of instability. I'm assuming you met after kind of pretty severe hardship in each of your lives, and you were sort of imbalanced and flailing and trying to hold on to each other for strength and comfort. And to other people, that was coming across as like two wrongs not making a right, I guess. I think that's a way to explain it. So they were thinking like, you're a mess, they're a mess, you guys shouldn't be together. You should work on yourselves right now. And I can't say that I would say something different if I were your friend, but there was some instability going on. It was just really impossible to fully hear what the other person was saying when your pain was drowning out the other person's words. So on both sides of the coin here. All right, so the next thing I'd like to talk about is, can this relationship be saved and is it worth saving? So the first card for that one is the Page of Swords and the Chariot. Things aren't going to be fixed anytime soon, as communicating again will just result in some petty arguing. But the challenges in your relationship can be conquered. It's just going to take a whole lot of work. And I don't really see you guys being in a place to do that work for quite some time. So it might not be fully over, but I could see you both dating a few other people in between coming back to each other. There's some lessons you both need to learn before you are together again. Alrighty, and for what this relationship was supposed to teach you, you got the World and the Dragonfly. This relationship has shown some light on some of the karmic healing that you still need to do within yourself. You may have a more clear understanding of some underlying issues that you need to take on and try to work on and resolve. It's time to start learning how to quiet your ever racing mind and find a center that you can return to when your emotions are running high. So I know I recommend this in every video, but it would be great if you would start meditating. I think that would help a lot. How can you mend your heart at this time? You got Bronwyn in reverse. Now's going to be the time for you to be accountable for your thoughts and take responsibility for your actions or your words. It's time to come clean about anything harmful you might have done and just release that guilt so that you can start fresh. What should you be focusing on at this time? The Ten of Wands reversed and the Dragon. So it's time to date other people and explore different types of people and see what they have to teach you. If you don't feel up to dating yet, I highly encourage you to hang out with a variety of people socially. It's just time to branch out and kind of see what the world has to offer. I get the sense that you've maybe only dated a few people or only have a specific group of friends, and it's kind of time to put yourself out there more and branch out. Heal your solar plexus. You're very much struggling to set boundaries with people that you love. So learn to say no if your emotions turn negative during an encounter or situation. It's time to just truly embrace the phrase, I am enough, and what I want is just as valuable as what everyone else desires. So those are all the messages I have for you, group number 3. If this resonates with you, leave me a comment or like this video and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to make sure you catch all of my pick a card videos as well as my monthly horoscope videos. I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey there, group number 4. This is your reading for why your relationship ended and if it's truly over. The first thing I want to do is pull 2 cards, one that represents you and one that represents your partner, to try to get an idea of what kind of was going on in the relationship before it ended. So for you, there's Justice. And then for your partner, the Six of Pentacles reversed and the Empress reversed. I'd say it's pretty possible that you're a Libra sun, moon, or rising sign, although you don't have to have any of those signs in your sun, moon, and rising for this message to resonate for you. However, you're definitely the type of person who values fairness and integrity. There was some kind of imbalance in the give and take of the relationship for you, and my hunch is that you were the one who never really had your needs cared for. Now, for your partner, yeah, your partner here was definitely acting as the dominant force over you. Remember, for some, that looks like actual dominant behaviors, and for others, this is kind of like using this victim mentality to control what you feel and do. It's a form of gaslighting. They made you feel like you weren't doing enough, but in reality, it was them being lazy and entitled. And right now, they're feeling extremely insecure. There's a definite lack of a feminine side for them, and they aren't able to connect with that feminine side, and so they're very imbalanced. Some of them may be overcorrecting with like kind of macho or stereotypical masculine behaviors. Their confidence is just taken sort of a major hit right now, and they're trying to recover from that. Some underlying issues that may have been affecting your relationship, the Page of Wands. So I get the sense that one of you was wanting to travel and go on new adventures, and the other one was not. The other one was more of a homebody and was just interested in doing the same old, same old. And you just kind of had a different approach to life. and they would just not compromise with you at all. So you were always trying to go with their opinion and do what they wanted. And I also get the sense that someone here got really, really clingy in the end and just kind of started to drive the other person a little bit crazy. So, can this relationship be saved, and is it even worth saving? The World and the Nine of Swords. So I think this is a definite no. It's not worth saving. If you did try to get back together, things would just escalate to even greater, like emotional or potentially even physical abuse than there was before. Your guides are asking you to take some time to learn to be happy with yourself, and then that happiness will open you up to meeting new, happy, positive people that can lead to meeting a new love interest. But all of that in good time. There's no urgency here. Please do not feel the need to get right back on the horse. Take some time, heal yourself up, and realize how important and how incredible you are. So, what was this relationship trying to teach you? The King of Pentacles reversed and the Black Egg. Through this relationship, you learned the different ways jealousy and controlling behaviors can present themselves. You've learned to pick up on red flags much, much quicker. And you've also learned that money and increasing commitment levels will not fix a relationship. I've heard from a lot of people saying, oh, well, if I have a child with them, then maybe they'll have to grow up. Or if we got married, maybe they'll feel obligated to start compromising with me and sort of giving me my way since we're committed forever. And it just never really seems to pan out that way. You've learned to speak your truth and what it feels like when your voice is silenced for too long. If you're a writer or a teacher or a musician, your job probably seemed much more difficult during this relationship because you were brought here to give truth to the world and they cut you off from that gift. So you're here to not take this relationship really taught you about not taking that gift for granted. Here's a message from your guides about mending your broken heart. Brigid in reverse. Embrace that sense of childlike curiosity again and approach each new idea as a yes, and do not let the adult mind hold you back. Please don't expect yourself to ever be perfect. Some of the best ideas come from our mistakes and falling down. So don't underestimate failure, and don't let that fear be what holds you back from healing that throat chakra. What should you focus on now that the relationship is over? The Ace of Cups and the Zebra. You should focus on connecting back with your higher self at this time. They're reaching out and sending love to try to help and heal you. Engage in some volunteer work where you can give back to people. It's amazing what other people who have been through it can really teach you. If you have the ability to travel somewhere right now, that would be really healing for you to kind of shake up your surroundings and wake you back up again and get you going on the right path. These are all the messages I have for you, group number 4. If this resonates with you, give it a like or comment. Subscribe to my channel for more pick a card videos and monthly tarot horoscope readings. I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey, group 4, this is your reading for why the relationship ended and if it's really over. The first 2 sets of cards I'm going to pull, one will represent you and one will represent your ex, and it will kind of give us an overview of what was going on in the relationship before it ended. So for you, we got the 8 of Pentacles. And then for your ex, the Magician reversed, and then the 7 of Swords. So you were putting a lot of work and effort into this relationship. You made sure that you guys were financially set. You were achieving what you assumed to be mutual goals and spending a lot of time at work to make money for your family or for your significant other. However, your partner was a little bit of a trickster. They were kind of putting on this mask, pretending like they wanted what you wanted, but something tells me that the money you were bringing in was more important to them than the goals of what you were hoping to use it for later. They had their own agenda and they never really shared that agenda with you. And I'd say there's a very real possibility that they were cheating on you. They may have had multiple partners they were doing this to. They're on a pretty dangerous path right now, and it's starting to catch up to them pretty quickly. So let's flip and see if there's any outside forces that were affecting your relationship. You got the 2 of Cups reversed. Yeah, so there was definitely a person on the side that they were working. So it's like One second they were dreaming with you about the future, and then the next second you just couldn't get them to return a call or a text or get any sort of information out of them, and they didn't seem to have any interest in your thoughts or feelings. So it's kind of like this two-sided mass, this very disconnected disharmony situation. All right, can this relationship be saved, and is it worth your time to try to save it? The Four of Pentacles reversed and the Seven of Pentacles reversed, so both Pentacles. Interesting. Your guides are saying no, and they're asking you to just go ahead and let this go. This was a huge loss. This was a lot of back and forth, and you hoping it would work out, and then it not working out. And so I know it might have seemed like they provided you with all these times of joy, and you're just hoping that you can get back to those times when they did seem to love you and they did seem to have your same goals. But ultimately, that was just built on a lie. Honestly, work is sort of a huge deal for you. Even if they weren't being deceptive, they were never really going to understand why financial security was so important to you in the first place and what you were trying to build. And I don't think they're going to understand that in the future either. So I do really feel that this relationship is over and there's something better out there for you. So, what were you supposed to learn during this relationship? Great segue. Queen of Pentacles, more Pentacles, guys. The Oyster and the Fire Ant. I just want to note really quick, you've gotten a lot of 1, 2, 3, 4 pentacles that I can see on the board, which tells me that in your chart, you probably have some earth, so either Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus in your sun, moon, or rising sign. That doesn't have to be true about you to resonate. But if you do, this is your guides confirming that this is the correct pile for you and something that you need to hear is contained within this section of the video. This relationship was teaching you to trust your instincts. I just wanted to point out that if you're into this kind of thing, that I think earth magic would be really, really healing for you. This relationship showed you some of the imbalances you have in your life. For example, I'm not really saying that your ex is in the right, but you do have the tendency to favor work over the relationship. And this relationship glaringly pointed out as you were so swept away in building a secure life right below your nose. You can achieve just about anything you set your mind to, but don't hide your talents away. It's time to share those things out with the world and lift the vibrations of those around you. You're learning just how powerful you are through this relationship and how strong you are and how to share that with someone else. So, although this was like a very painful relationship, a very painful ending, there's so much here you're going to be able to use in the future towards your benefit. So, let's talk about some ways you can heal your broken heart. Persephone in reverse. Realize that this relationship was a necessary endeavor to teach you how to stop and notice those red flags. Don't just brush them over and throw yourself into busy work and ignore them. Look at them and trust your instincts. If something feels off, investigate or avoid it altogether. Every experience, even the painful ones, are going to add value to your life. So I think this is your guide's way of saying, like, we're so sorry that this had to happen this way, but you're going to be much stronger, more successful person moving forward. So, what should you be focusing on now? The Sun reversed and the Buffalo. A sense of your security has been lost, and now it's time to do some grounding activities. It's okay to be sad right now, but if you encounter a joyful moment, it's also okay to get swept up in that joyful moment as well. Negative thoughts and emotions are like this overwhelming tidal wave for you right now. And if you are an earth sign, that might be pretty out of your area of comfort zone. So it's okay to really just feel and heal right now. Let go of what you thought life should be like and start being grateful for what it is. You'll find yourself bringing in more and more things to be grateful for and opening your heart to do some deeper spiritual connection. So this is all the messages I have for you, group number 5. I hope this resonates with you, and I really hope that your heart gets to recover from this situation. Leave me a comment or like this video if this resonates, and subscribe to my channel if you want more pick a card readings as well as monthly horoscope tarot readings. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Hey, pile number 6, this is your reading for why your relationship ended and if you should save it. The first thing I'm going to do is pull 2 different piles of cards. One is going to represent you, and one will represent your ex, and it will kind of give us an overview of what was going on in the relationship before it ended. So for you, we've got the Three of Swords reversed. And then for them, we have the Seven of Pentacles and the Seven of Cups. You loved them very, very deeply, and you were afraid of losing them. And so that made you willing to forgive this huge hurt that they had caused you, but it never really left the back of your mind, and the trust was just kind of lost in the relationship for you. And for them, they were all in the beginning, but eventually the honeymoon phase was over for them. They met someone else who kind of gave them that rush of a new relationship again, and they felt stuck trying to decide who to choose. This almost seems more like an emotional affair to me than like a sexual affair, but the fantasy of what they thought a committed relationship was supposed to be didn't really live up to the day-to-day life you guys were living. Fairy tales seem to convince us that happily ever after just appears, but in reality, relationships are this constant balancing act where you must choose to love each other each and every day. And they got so swept up in this fairy tale type idea that they were always thinking the grass would be greener on the other side, or I guess essentially with another person. So that was kind of what was going on with them. Let's talk about some outside forces that may have been impacting your relationship. Judgment reversed. There were definitely a lot of rumors that you and your partner were hearing. Someone else was kind of whispering negative thoughts about you in their head throughout the relationship. I'm not sure who that is or what that's referring to, but that's something they're telling me. Can this relationship be saved, and is it worth your time to save it? The Seven of Swords reversed and the Hermit reversed. No, unfortunately, I would say this relationship just cannot be saved. There was just too much deception, and this person will continue to cheat if you did try to make it work again with them. I know it might feel like you've missed your opportunity to meet the one, but I assure you that this is just not the case. They are not worth the pain of returning back to and getting hurt again. So take time to heal and then seek out other people from outside of the social group that you're in, or just go out there and try to meet different people, because I'm telling you, this person is not the one for you, and there's someone so much better out there. So what was this relationship supposed to teach you anyways? We have the Chariot and the Four of Swords and the Gazelle. You definitely had the rug ripped right out from under you, and now it feels like everything could be a potential threat, and it's really hard to tell who or what you should trust. This relationship is a huge, huge turning point in your life, and it's what needed to happen to motivate you to change up your life drastically, and it's kind of sending you down this hurtling path of a different, healthier lifestyle choice. I think that this is forcing you to seek out some counseling that you desperately needed before. And this made you come head to head with your mental state, either anxiety or depression, etc. And it's what's having you really assess what steps you need to take to get back to being healthy. And I'm really excited for you, because that is a huge thing to accept, that you need help and to go grab that help when you need it. How can you mend your broken heart? Gaia reversed. It's time to ground yourself again so that you can feel safe and secure. Right now, everything seems like it's out to get you. Figure out what your triggers are and how you can build a strong foundation that supports your mental state instead of continuing to tear it down. So, again, I would say seek out some counseling. There's nothing wrong with getting counseling. I think everyone should get counseling regardless of whether they feel like it or not. It's just a good idea. What should your new focus be? The Ace of Pentacles reversed, the Starfish, and the Eagle. Think of this moment like a fresh slate. Your beliefs were built on shaky foundations before, but now you have this incredible opportunity to rebuild on something that will last forever. Try something new and experiment with new things that interest you until you find something that you truly love. Work on creating strong bonds with friends and remove any friend from your life that's not uplifting. It's time to surround yourself with people who reinforce positivity. The eagle specifically is a card that seeks out truth and will throw anything into the fire that does not serve your highest good. So trust the transformation process. Its only goal is to make you feel stronger and more fulfilled in life. These are all the messages I'm getting for you, group number 6. I hope this resonates with you. If it does, give this video a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any other videos I come out with. I do 2 weekly pick a card videos as well as a monthly horoscope tarot video. See you next time. Bye.